back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys! So I'm back to do another review for two books that I recently read, and they're both easy, fun, cozy little reads that I picked up largely based on cover, never heard of the authors before, and that is these two. So I think you can probably guess why the covers attracted me. They're really beautiful. The cover design for The Baby Dragon Cafe was by Ellie Game, and the illustration was by Alex Cabal at Illustration X, and I really just think this is the cutest little cover. It's so adorable with these little baby dragons coming in and out of the cafe. I just think they're really cute. And then the other one that I picked up, again largely based on cover, although it did sound like fun, and I like the title of this one, The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. Again, the cover's really beautiful. This one was by Dawn Cooper and the design was by Katie Anderson, so really like that. You can see that they are holding some pistols there, and there's some pistols woven in with the with all the other little bits and bobs like the wisteria, and yeah, very cute, very cute. I don't love when they do this, where they like print a sticker on there. Why do they do that? But other than that, I like it. So we'll start off with this one, and I read this one not very long ago, and I picked it up when I was in Hay-on-Wye with one of my friends who also bought a copy of it. It's the first one in a series, and it follows the Lady Scoundrels and their society, which Cecilia, our main character, is hoping to become part of. Cecilia has grown up in a bit of a rocky lifestyle, a little bit unusual. It's kind of set in, I don't know, Victorian England probably, and it definitely has like high society as a big focus of it, and I like that sort of Fantasy of Manners-esque style time period, whatever you want to call it. So it's focused in that time. She's grown up in a house which flies with her, she believes, aunt, and they live together, but they live together because of circumstances kind of out of their control. Her father murdered her mother, and therefore she has had to come and live with her aunt, and so the two of them kind of coexist. They have a flying house that they can fly around when needed. Her aunt is part of this society, which Cecilia has grand aspirations of joining because her family have all been in it. And so to do that, she kind of has to prove herself. She has to do like a bank robbery. She has to ensure that she is selected by the society and proven herself to them to be able to join. And meanwhile, she must look pretty, be graceful and caring and kind, and, you know, conduct herself in all the right ways in high society. So that's kind of the premise, and when we pick up the story, we notice that she has suddenly been ordered to have an assassin come and kill her, and she gets told about this by the assassin. A little bit unusual. The assassin also kind of happens to be the love interest, and this is a little bit of a fun story where, you know, there is a couple who kind of unwillingly end up together. So not enemies to lovers or anything like that, but definitely not friends into more than friends, if that makes sense. So yeah, I like this one. It's a little bit of sort of swashbuckling fun without the water, because they are pirates who can fly around Victorian England, and I just think that's a really fun idea, and weaving that into a high society setup works really well. All of the kind of gripes of the different people inside of the society are like really petty things, and, you know, they're simple petty things, and then they go around and they just try and murder each other because of those things. So it's a little bit silly, it's very tongue-in-cheek, it's very amusing, and it was just easy reading. It did not take me long at all to whiz through this book once I finally sat down and read it. And I think Cecilia is a fun character, if maybe a little naive about especially relationships, but I enjoyed her. She was easy to get on with. She has a likeable, fiery spirit, and she's determined to rescue the other ladies in the society when they get into trouble. So overall, I gave it a 3 stars. It's very enjoyable, it's very easy, it certainly has potential. Would I carry on with the series? I don't know necessarily that I would. It was fine and it was a good palate cleanser, but I don't think it really gripped me. I certainly feel like the characters are very surface level, and you don't see an awful lot of intrigue there. There are a few little twists in the story, a few little interesting moments, but I feel like it doesn't quite have, you know, retention power for me. But it was fun. I did enjoy it. I just don't know that I'm going to be shouting about it for weeks to come. I think it's probably run its course with me, and that's fine because occasionally I like to just pick up an easy read and fly through it, and this was very much that. So let me know what you've thought of this, if you've read this series or this book, and let's move on to the other one that I'm going to review today. So the second one that I'm going to talk about is The Baby Dragon Cafe, and I read this one in a day, in fact in like 2 hours, I think I read this one, so it's super quick read. It is largely dialogue, which is why it's so quick and easy to get through. There is description, but there's not a lot of description, and we are following Saphira and Aiden. So Saphira is our main character. She has opened up this Baby Dragon Cafe in a world where dragons are very normal and just kind of happenstance. They are for the more wealthy, the more elite, but they are very common in the world, and so it's very usual to see dragons kind of going around their day. Baby dragons, on the other hand, they're a little bit of a menace and they get up to all sorts of trouble. So a lot of places do not allow baby dragons, but she has always harboured an absolute love for baby dragons, and therefore she's opened a cafe where they are allowed to come and destroy things, basically, because that's what they get up to. They get up to all sorts of nuisance making. And along the way, despite sort of being a little bit financially unstable and struggling with money, she loves all the dragons she meets, and she's just generally a nice person who a lot of people in society really like, and she has a lot of good friends, but she lives on her own. She doesn't really have any family, and she's just, you know, getting by. She's achieved her dream of like opening this cafe, but she doesn't really have an awful lot going on outside of the cafe because the cafe is everything. Aiden, on the other hand, comes from one of the Drakon families, which is very powerful families. He is expected to kind of carry on their name and their legacy. He does not want to be involved in what they do, which is illegal dragon racing, and so he's kind of an unwilling participant in his own life at the start of this story. He's got a baby dragon through circumstances he did not ask for, and this baby dragon and him are not getting along at all, and so when he stumbles into the baby dragon Cafe, of course, he and Saphira have a little bit of a spark, and he ends up enlisting her help to train his baby dragon. And it all goes from there, and as I say, it's very predictable, it's very cutesy and fun, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just an easy palate cleanser read. I did really like the concept of a baby dragon cafe. I think the perils that come along with that are probably quite major, and I feel like this brushed a little bit of that aside. I mean, there is looking into kind of what circumstances would happen, but just not in a big way, and I feel like quite a few of the big issues were maybe brushed to the side in favour of the romance and the lusting that the two main characters were doing for each other. So yeah, it was fun, it was easy, but would I remember it in, you know, a couple of weeks? Probably not. It was very likeable. I believe again that this one is going to be the first in a series because the back of it had Baby Dragon Bakery and Baby Dragon Bookshop, so it sounds like there are more coming. These books, these sorts of fun, cozy reads feel like they're popping up a lot. Like a lot of people are kind of trying to go for the cafe setup after Legends and Lattes did so well. I do not think this is as strong as that series by any means. I think certainly we could have seen a couple of bit more insights into things, and certainly dove a lot deeper with the characterization. So yeah, it was very likable, very easy. I gave it a solid like 2.5, 3 stars, but it wasn't memorable, and I don't think I'll carry on with the series in the end. However, it is very easy reading and something great for in between bigger fantasy books. So if that sounds like it could appeal to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. And thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to tell me if you've read either of the books I mentioned, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye all.
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.